Hello, Multiverse. Welcome to Omniverse Gamers. My name is Damian Bizio. Today's video is about a style of play that I've been kind of messing with over for about a year or two now. It's basically a modified Westmarch style game that's very story-based, and it's player-driven, and you need literally no map to start at all. The players will draw the map for you, as the whole world will build itself. And it's the easiest game you're ever going to run if you like to improv. If you're not into improv, this game's not for you, because now you could run this game and do a lot of prep and it'd be a basic Westmarch, sandbox Westmarch. But what this video is about is it's a story based minimal prep Westmarch that's literally going to build itself. It's I run two of them right now, and I literally can show up and play. Players have ultimate agency. They love it. They go wherever they want, and the stories literally write themselves as we play. So the idea came about because I watch Matt Colville videos, because he's amazing, and why I'm making my own videos to try to supplement what he says and things that help you guys out a little more. So he made a video about the Westmarches, which is the style of play that was invented by Ben Robbins, which basically, the idea of a Westmarch is that you don't have a set party, you don't have a set night to play. You basically, the players, whoever's playing at the table, you have a shared world, so different players can play in the world every time. And you always start in town, and you always go out from town, and there's nothing happens in town. Town's like a safe zone. It's kind of a gamey idea you use. So town's safe. Adventure is outside of town. The original Westmarches were kind of like hex crawl, loot based, XP, kind of competitive. You go out and find things, kill monsters, get their XP, you level up. You base it on he had a really detailed map that he had them go explore, which was cool, and I like the concept of that. And I like the concept of not having a set party and being able to play. Because sometimes you have a game, 7 people are supposed to show up Sunday, 2 of them can't make it. So what do? Your game's screwed. You either ghost that player, or you just ignore them, or you just kind of, there's a way you have somebody else run them. It gets clunky when someone doesn't show up. So what we do now, if we can't play our normal story game that needs all of our players, that needs all 6 people to show up, and say 1 or 2 can't show up, we just say, well, whoever does show up, we're going to play our Westmarch game tonight now with whoever's here, and we're going to just so we can still play Dungeons & Dragons on our day we usually play, but we don't have to play our main game. It doesn't matter if somebody misses. It's no big deal. And then I also have another Westmarch that I run regularly every 2 weeks, and it's at a game shop, and random people show up, and we just play. They're all at the same level, and whoever shows up plays. It's very episodic, but it's also the storylines linked together, kind of like X-Files. X-Files, every other episode is its own thing, but there's also this overarching story. My modified Westmarch is sort of like that. So there's some things that I kept from the, and I would go watch the Matt Colville video about Westmarch, and maybe I'll put the Ben Robbins link to the original Westmarch in the down below, and you can read up about that kind of style, because it is a fun style. And this is just how I've tweaked it to be really fun and super easy for me, and I could play D&D any night of the week and just show up and play. I don't need any prep at all. I say I don't need any prep. I've been DMing for 30 years, so I have a whole binder full of stuff. This is my prep. I've been prepping for 30 years, so I can just do that. If you're a new DM, it might take you a little while to build up your, but as you're DMing, if you DM 2 or 3 actual normal games, you'll have if you save all that information, you'll have plenty of stuff to run this type of Westmarch. So on top of the Matt video, I watched the Matt Colville video on Westmarch. I thought, that's a cool idea. And then I watched another video where he interviews Jim Murphy about one night where Jim Murphy the regular DM couldn't show up or wasn't ready to play, and people were sad. And Jim Murphy was like, well, I'm ready. I'll DM. And he DM'd the whole session off a blank piece of paper. He had nothing. He had a blank sheet of paper, and he just made up a game, because he, like me, he has all kinds of stuff ready to go that he's used in the past. I don't know why I'm doing this. But so he is always ready to go. He can just run out of nowhere, right, as they say, out of your ass. And it is out of your ass. All of D&D is out of the DM's ass. Whether he does it ahead of time or on the fly, it's all coming out of, he's just making it up. So what's the difference? It's not, So I thought, man, what about a game where I don't have to do anything, and the players just go where they want, and they make up their own map, and that'd be really cool. So we just had an idea, and I was like, well, you guys all make second level characters. Go. So we kind of were sessioning 0 at my girlfriend's old apartment, and we were all there. So I think there was 4 or 5 of us there, and they were just making characters and talking. And I literally, as they were doing that, I took a blank piece of paper, and I drew a little circle in the middle. That's our town. We just call it Westmarch, because that's the style we were playing. And I just started writing like basic nouns, like goblins, hills, forest, desert. Just randomly on the map, like nothing. And you don't even have to do this. That's just how I started this first one, and I wrote maybe, I'd say maybe 15 different things on there. Giants. I tried to expand it out so bigger things were on the outside, and and kobolds and little things were on the inside. So I just kind of randomly made up some stuff, and as they finished their characters, we just kind of made up a thing where you want to go, and they said, well, we're going to go south. So I just had some monsters. We did a little encounter in the south. They were gnolls. The first encounter we had, they were wolves, or they were hyenas, and then they turned into gnolls. So now they knew. So basically, after that encounter, everyone has their own map, and they draw their own map. So they're like, oh, now I'm going to rate gnolls. There's gnolls in the south. We know that. Now, in the next session, they can go down to those gnolls. They can go beyond. They go, oh, we're going to go north today. We're going to see what's in the north. So north, I wrote down forest. They're in the forest. What's in the forest? I don't know. I pull out my book, get something out of the forest, and they have an encounter. Basically, it starts out really simple. It started out so simple. But the players did everything. They chose, and over 30, 40 sessions, this map just expanded. It got crazy. I'll put the map. I'll put the things up to the 2 maps that we have now that started literally from nothing, and now they don't look like a lot, but there's 30, 40 sessions in there, and there are storylines going on. Basically, the things that I kept from the original Westmarch are that there's no regular time, there's no standard group. It happens whenever it happens. Now I do run one on a regular 2-week basis. That's just because the way the shop runs. But I never know who's going to show up or where they're going to go. I tell them to do it ahead of time, but the earlier they tell me where they want to go, the more developed their encounter will be, obviously. But I can just do it on the fly. Sometimes they say, we're going to go to the goblins all week. We're going to take those goblins out because they killed one of our pets, and we're going to go murder them. But then they get to the session like, well, maybe we should go deal with the orcs now because this and that. So they totally shifted on me. Some DMs aren't ready for that, but I'm always ready because I already know the spokes, so I already know where the lines go, basically. Another thing I kept from the main Westmarch is that every session starts in town. You always start in town. Now, in the original Westmarch, this is why they couldn't have stories, because you had to travel from town to wherever you were going, and random encounters happened. So you never really got anywhere for storyline. So that's why one of the things I modified, and I'll talk about that in a second here. Another aspect of this game that's just like the original Westmarch is that it's exploration based. They live in a town they've never left. No one in town has ever left this town. Now you can have different story reasons why. I have 2 different ones. I'll talk about that later in the video. But they have to go outside to find adventure. In the town, nothing happens in the town. I mean, things happen in town, but people don't talk about going outside. Everyone's kind of like Stepford wives, or like the pod people. They just kind of go about their business. They don't. If you ask them direct questions about outside, they'll just kind of, we don't go outside. We don't talk about that. Or only the guard goes outside to get meat and bring it in. Because monsters can't come in to town. There's a barrier. There's some reason why town is safe. Town is always safe. That's a classic Westmarch thing. And then that formula is great. If you want to just run that formula, look at the Ben Robbins video. That's a fun kind of game to run. It is, and it's no storyline. It's just you're just hex crawling. You just hack and slash. You just loop murder hoboing basically. That can be fun for some people, but I wanted to take that formula and put some story into it and have a more narrative based exploration. So what I changed about the Westmarch is that, so one thing I have story spokes. So the first one I did, I basically cut the map. I had a little town in the center. I cut it down the north and south and west and east, and I had a river going right through the center of the map. This river going right through town, right through the center of the map. So I have north, south, east, west, and I have a block. So I have every quadrant was a storyline. I don't know if I'm doing this right. Yeah, you see me dancing like that. And then so from town, and I'll put the map over here and I'll show you how that works. So from the center of town, every direction, 4 directions. I have one with 4 directions and I have one with 6 directions. But if you're a new DM and you haven't done this yet, I would suggest starting with 4, just because you're going to have a lot of storylines going. You're not going to write them. Players are going to make them up as you go. You're kind of more the editor than the writer in this kind of situation. You're adding storyline to the things that they're doing, but they're doing it, and you're just kind of building the tracks underneath it as you go. So I would suggest doing it 4 spokes to start with. But so in one spoke they had gnolls. They went beyond the gnolls. It was in the forest. They found this gnoll fort, and they had this fort going on, and then they found out the gnolls were kind of mining. They were mining something. You couldn't quite see what they were mining because there was a big fort. They couldn't get in there. So basically, you don't world build. You don't world build at all. You world plan. So you start with a town in the center, there's a concentric circle around the town, which is basically your level 1 area. I start at level 2, so you call it the level 2 area. So there's everything in that immediate circle is going to be low level. Then you go out from that circle, everything gets to be another higher level. And then as the circles go out, I call them tiers. I don't call them levels. I call them tiers. Tiers of play. Higher level play is going to be outside. And that also goes for up and down. So if you ever played like Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale, those old isometric games, they got more difficult as you went this way. But also up a tower or down a dungeon got more difficult as well. So if you're starting to say you're in tier 1 and you go out to tier 2, you're in tier 2 area. If you go into a tower in tier 2, that first level is going to be tier 2. But if you get into the second level of that tower, you're now technically in tier 3. You're above tier 2. You're 2 plus. You're not quite as powerful as the next tier, but you're getting close. And if you go up higher again, you're in tier 4. You are dealing with things you're not ready for. And the sessions are episodic. So they'll resolve the thing in the first floor. They'll start their next session in town. They'll go back there. They can then, we already finished the first floor. We're going to go up to the second floor now. We're a little bit more powerful. We got more items. It's kind of a looter. We're going to go up there and we're going to deal with this. And then as they're doing that, you just kind of build storyline underneath it as they're going. And as they're playing, as they're talking, this is as a DM, you listen a lot in this kind of game. You let them, they just go because they're going to sit there and talk about where they're going for 20 minutes to a half hour. They're going to take a lot of the gameplay. It's going to be just them directing their own adventure, which is great. As a DM, you just sit back and watch, and you get ideas from the things that they say. You say, well, but they're going to go to this tower. I think I might do this one thing that be in the tower, but as they're talking about it, and they say, oh, I think there's this thing in here. Or, what if there's this in here? And they're like, oh, actually, that is a better idea. I'm going to use that idea that they just came up with. They seeded it, and they're going to keep talking. They don't even know that you're making notes over there. And then maybe 2 sessions later, they're going to go into that tower, and it's going to be what that one guy had said. Oh my God, it's that. And then, oh my God. And they made that up. You used what they gave you to make that up. Another thing I changed about my Westmarch is that everybody draws their own map. Instead of having a collective map, everyone that shows up to a session has their own blank paper with their map on it. And any place that player goes and resolves, or even just if they just go there, even if they fail, they can put that on their map. And I don't tell them where it is. I describe it where there is. They have to put it down on their map. Now another player can help them. Say, oh, I've been there. It's in the southwest. You can put that down there. Anywhere that any player has been, they put that on their map. So then the next session, whoever shows up, anywhere that they have on their map, we can just fast travel there. And fast travel, oh my God, you're fast traveling, you're metagaming. Yes, but the point of that is, if you've gone 3 tiers out, we have 1 session. We don't want to sit there. We're never going to get beyond that if we have to keep traveling every time. So you already feed this section, this section, this section. We're going to start here. Your storyline's going to here. We're going to start right back wherever they may have gone this storyline and stopped, and maybe it's been 4 months they've been going other directions. They've been going to the south or the east or whatever. But now tonight they're going back to the northwest. You have that notes from that, the other 3 sessions that whoever had gone there, you have the sessions from that. You just build out from there. Now you're going to go beyond that. So then because one person was there, it could be just one, it could be all of them. Maybe all of them. We want to go back there because we were the group that went there, or just one guy saying, when we went to that tower, we had this stuff, and I have it on my map. We can fast travel there. And players that haven't been there or been anywhere along that line, they might not know the storyline. They probably will because the players talk and stuff. But they'll be like, "Oh, I'll go there with you. Yeah, we'll fast travel with you. We'll all go there." So you're building this map. Every session you show up, you do one episodic, contained little session and unit and storyline. Over time, one game I've done maybe 50 sessions of. It's been almost 2 years now. I've been running this Westmarch, and the map doesn't look like a lot. But it's huge. The storylines, when they start talking about this game, they just go. It's just like, oh, then we did this, then we did that, or that. It's not like a linear game. Like, yeah, we did this cool thing. We fought this dragon, and then we went from the dragon to this boat, and we had to do this. And it's like a very linear storyline. It's really cool. But then my Westmarch players start talking. Well, we were fighting these goblins, and it turns out they were poisoning these other tabaxi. And then we went to fight the tabaxi. We found out we'd have to fight them because the goblins were poisoning them, and we solved that. So now we're friends with the tabaxi, and we're going to go kill the goblins. And there's all this dynamic, multiple storylines going on because, one person's been on mission X, Y, and Z. The other person's been on mission X, B, and J. Oh yeah, we both were at X, but when I went to B, we did this, and when I went to X, we did this, and oh my God, that sounds really cool. We should, they decide. The game kind of builds itself. It's amazing. And fast travel kind of facilitates the story. It makes the story possible, even though it's weird. Fast travel kind of takes you out of immersion, but the gaminess of the game and the bullseye structure of the game, it just works. You kind of put that aside. We all know we're going to show up to play Dungeons and Dragons. We know what we're doing. We're going to come for encounters. We're coming to make stories. We know the game that we are basing this on. We know the game that we're going to play, and it's super fun because the players have ultimate agency. They decide every single thing about this game. They do it. They're going to decide which directions to go, what storylines to pursue. You just kind of make it up as you go. So you have to be very good at improv, which I happen to be. I love the improv. I like not knowing where they're going to go. I can show up because I show up to my story games. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go run this, and it's fun. I run my encounter. I have this big epic set piece, and we fight, and it's fun. And I tell my stories, and they tell their stories, and we build, a standard classic game. But with this Westmarch, I don't know the story. I'm exploring the story as they are. I have an overarching kind of idea for each game. I have 2 different games. One of them I based on kind of X-Files, kind of Lost, the show Lost. It's kind of like a mystery. There's like it's a time thing. There's a shield around town that's going to come down in 2 years, and they have to go out and find clues to fix that before once the barriers are down. Their whole town is subject to the wild, and then their Westmarch is done. They're done. They have 2 years to solve this, or they're done. So there's kind of a time-based thing, and so they're going out trying to find clues, trying to find different things, and there's different ways. I'll explain how I started that one, and my other one is more of like a Goonies style. I just kind of, it's cool to like take the Westmarch and get like a TV show or a movie idea, like a theme to it, and it makes them the 2 Westmarches started with the same idea, same blank piece of paper, 2 completely different towns based off nothing. And because I have one X-Files, one mystery-based X-Files one, and one more Goonies, Indiana Jones, external exploration, they have different feels. I have players that play in both, and they tell me how different each Westmarch is, even though they're literally the same. So your Westmarch that you start, it's going to be how your players develop it. So it's going to be completely different. So that's why you can run 2. Well, I should not suggest run 2. I'm crazy, so I run a lot of games. So whatever theme you give your Westmarch, it's going to kind of go along that. But then you can always change it. Like I didn't instantly come up with that theme. We started playing as the world built and kind of formed, and the sessions started forming. I just kind of deepened the mystery basically, and changed the mystery, changed the ideas as we went. So when I started my second Westmarch, I kind of had a better idea of how to do that. So I had more of a grand thought process for that one, because I had some experience of the first one, and so I kind of based this one on Goonies. It's a much bigger world with 6 boats. It's a hexagon. There's 6 different storylines, 6 different minor storylines, plus all the different storylines all the players have created, plus the overarching storyline. So this is a game that literally is based off nothing, that has maybe, it could have 10 different storylines going that I did not have to do myself. It just happened. They just happened. And they just keep going, and it's amazing. It's amazing. So an aspect of this game, as opposed to the original Westmarch, I do not use experience points. We level up, kind of like milestone. Basically, when they complete a circle, if they complete all circle 1, all of tier 1, all the directions, they complete the first level, they get to level up, and then they're ready for the second level, the second tier. Their next level is ready for the second tier. Then you kind of go from there, and as they complete the circle, as the circles get bigger, they have to complete more stuff to get around. And then they do that, they level up to the next one. Now, there's one other way to level up in this game that I have in my mind that players have not figured out yet, so I can't tell you that because my players are probably watching this and they haven't figured that out yet. I'll edit it in later. You can probably think it out. If you're a DM, you can probably work it out, the other way to level up in this game. But basically, you concentrically you go out. And now, because I've eliminated experience points, and because people have their own maps and their own experiences, it's completely cooperative. Whereas an old Westmarch could be competitive because you're trying to get to the loot, you're trying to get to the dungeon before somebody else does. You're trying to resolve things and learn stuff before everybody else. Whereas in this style, it's story-based, so it's very cooperative. So when someone's like, oh, well, what did you do last week? Where'd you guys go? And, oh, we went to this and that. Oh, that sounds really cool. We did this. We should maybe work together to go to this other one, and we can maybe, because I solved this one and you solved that one, maybe we can now together with the loot we got, we can solve this one. Because I try to make it like Mega Man, where if you guys go one way, you're going to find some like fire stings, or find a element or a weapon or something, or an item that's going to help you in something else you did before that you were kind of stuck with. Like, oh, we got to fight this fire dragon. We need water. We need something to shoot water at it. We have nothing to shoot water. Like, well, now you went on this other quest. You found a decanter of endless water. Whoa, we found this. These gnolls had this water canteen. Oh my god, I can give this to Jason, who can shoot this at the. We can now go fight that fire guy. We have water. So now you want to go back and fight It's kind of like a Mega Man. You got everything you get, try to tie it into something else, and your world will just keep building and pushing and moving and building on top of it. Another thing about this Westmarch is I do not do random encounters. Well, I mean, I do random encounters because it's all random when you start, but even though it starts random, you make it something. Yeah, I just randomly decided, oh, you're going to fight a basilisk today. Okay, so you could just fight a basilisk and be done with it, but why not? Maybe that basilisk is here for a reason. Maybe there's a wizard that put it here, or it was lost, it was from another place, and it just happens to be here, and it has tracks going back somewhere else. Maybe some kobolds taunted it and tricked it and like got it to chase them into this forest, and it's not supposed to be there. So maybe you don't have to kill this basilisk. Maybe you can lead it back to its homeworld, and you can kind of have a détente with it and kind of be its friend, and it's happy with you. You don't have to fight it. You still solve the encounter. You brought it back to its homeworld, and now maybe those kobolds, you can go. We're gonna go fight those kobolds for you, and you can kind of base it off. You can always try to keep if your one spoke's going here and there's another one next to it, you can always kind of put stuff in between that as the interacting. Because sometimes I do no time. They'll go they'll do this line, and then the next few sessions they'll go here, here, here. I won't have any time pass over here just because I don't need to. But sometimes maybe something happened over here that I'm thinking, well, maybe if they did that, if these kobolds did this, and that would affect what these orcs over here are going to do, because they now know that these kobolds are weak. So maybe the orcs start to, you can kind of cross. You don't have to do that, but you can start crossing your plots basically, and it's really simple, but it becomes very complex and very organic, and so you're literally building a world. And when you're done, I don't know what done means, but you're basically building a world. You and your players are building a whole universe yourselves as you go. But when you're done, you're gonna have a whole world. You're literally gonna be left with a whole world that was built without any work. Well, not any work, but with very minimal work. And now, eventually, my 2 Westmarches are going to finish. I'm going to have 2 giant worlds that I can use in other games. If I should say I'm on vacation and I'm out somewhere and you find out, oh my God, we're all the D&D players. We should play D&D. Well, we don't have anything. We can't play. We don't have anything to go. Like, I do. I can just whip out this and we can make some characters and we'll play in a still small section of this world that we built. It's ready to go. So yeah, that's my video on my modified story-based Westmarch. It's a super fun game, the easiest game you're ever going to run. It's complete player agency. They control everything. So they have to be engaged. They can't show up like, blah, blah, because it's not like they're showing up to game night just because they're there and they're just, we're going through the motions. Like, no, we're showing up. It's up to us to tell the dungeon master what we want to do. So we have to be ready to go. We have to engage because it's their game. They're creating the game. They can't just phone it in. I can phone it in. I'm the DM. I can't phone it in. Obviously, you're DMing, but you can show up with almost nothing. Just your whatever you have for, like, I have my binder. I have my binder full of monsters and all kinds of crap that I can just show up at your house and run this, no problem. But anything as you want. You want what kind of game you want? Let's run it. I can do that because I've DM'd for 30 years and I can just cobble stuff together. But as you DM and as you get stuff like that, you'll be able to cobble stuff together based on things you've done before. And this game, this style of play, is the ultimate improv player agency, and it ends up being super fun, and just your players will love it, and they will really engage with it because it's their world. They know it's their world. There's a little bit of gaminess to it, a little bit of metagaming, and then the fast travels you just kind of let it go. Nothing happens in town. Town is safe. I let them craft stuff. If they get a monster, they fought these guard drakes, and their scales it was resistant to cold, so they gutted the scales with the survival check. They got like a really good survival check. Something, yeah, you got their scales. You guys can craft items out of that. They ended up making because the tower they were in was an ice tower for a dragon, and the base level, the first level, which was they were out 2 tiers, and they were on the first base level of the tower, so they're 2 tiers out. Was these guard drakes? They killed the guard drakes, and when they went back, the tower was cold. Going up the tower was cold. They have cold damage. So they used these drake skin to make masks. They made masks that last for an hour that give them cold resistance. So now they can go to that tower, go to the higher levels of that tower without taking that cold damage because they made those masks based on what they did. So it's really cool when they decided to go back. They had another shenanigans. And they've kind of pissed off the owner of that tower, and it's kind of causing the early winter, like Frozen style. But that's a whole other thing. That's just some of the examples of what happens. And so yeah, you need a bullseye map that you're going to make up as you go. I'll show you. I'll put up some maps of how I did that. It's a lot of improv by the DM. It's super fun for a DM, especially if you're burnt out and you're just like, I'm sick of writing and sick of my players just showing up and doing stuff. They're going to show up and do everything for you. You're just going to run monsters and make. You're gonna put the story up behind them as they do stuff. You're going to make a story out of it. You don't have to be elaborate. It's little steps. Little steps end up being a giant world. Like I probably should film one of my Westmarch sessions just because it sounds like, oh my god, this is just a hack and slash. You're just doing hex crawl. This basic episodic. There's nothing. There's no story. No, the stories are they're deep. They're very developed. There's a lot going on, and it just happened organically. It just happened. I didn't sit there and write a diatribe. I just ran sessions, pieced them together, and they worked. I hope that inspires any of you to try it or try your own version of Westmarch. It's good to not be stuck in a party. To be just whoever shows up that day can play. If you can DM that way, you'll have a lot of people that want to play. Say you have like, 9 people that want to play. Yeah, you can run a game with 9 people, but that's going to suck. You could do it, but it's going to be long and combat's going to slog. Whereas you can just say, well, 4 you can show up on Thursday and we'll play our Westmarch, and then the other 4 you can show up on Saturday. We'll do another Westmarch, and then we can do it the next Saturday. Maybe the person that didn't get to play, he wants to play on I'm free Thursday. Who's free Thursday? Oh, the DM. I'm free Thursday. So it's kind of like a Westmarch in that aspect, but you're all adding to your maps, and you're all fast traveling and enjoying you're joining your stories together. So it takes very little prep. It's a lot of fun. It's very organic. And honestly, if you can follow this formula or mold the formula to your own DMing style, and your players take to it. If your players can, some players are just passive and they don't like this kind of game because they just want to show up and they want you to tell them a story. They just want to roll dice, and they have a hard time with this kind of game because they have to push themselves forward. They have to push the game forward. But most players will take to that. They're like, oh wow, because this is we can do whatever we want, and it's actually gonna matter to my character. It's not sometimes games. Yeah, we can do whatever we want, but we're just gonna go kill monsters, and then we're gonna collect loot and experience points, and yay. Like, some people love that. That's great, but when it actually means something, oh, we're gonna go kill these gnolls because we think they have a secret to helping us in our town. They might know the direction, or their elder has information about something we need. So we have to push through all these layers of gnolls to get to their elder, not kill him. They know they can't just force attack and just fireball the whole place. If they kill him, they're not going to get the information. So they have to be like, they really have to plan what they're doing, and you just kind of make it up as you go. So that's my video on a modified story-based Westmarch. I hope you can implement that, or have any questions about that, or how I did that. I'll try to put some more maps up and some more explanation. So I hope that was informative, and I hope to make some more videos soon. Like, subscribe, all that jazz, and have a nice day, and keep on gaming.